Hi everybody, this is Victoria. Welcome back to another new episode of Discovering Art Together. Today we are going to learn about conceptual art, or we could probably call it concept art. You might have heard about that. But if you didn't, let's go ahead and get into that today, and we are going to learn more about conceptual art. So first thing is, what is conceptual art? And then also some cool, interesting, and important things about conceptual art. Also learning some of the characteristics of what makes conceptual art, and I came up with some interesting comparisons between conceptual art and abstract art, and also conceptual art and minimalism art. So we'll find out more about that, and also who in the world created concept art or conceptual art. And then last bit is famous artists from this particular era. So if you guys are ready, let's go ahead and get started. So the first question is, what is conceptual art? Conceptual art is art for which the idea or concept behind the work is more important than the finished art project, to the point where the idea or concept behind the work of art became more important than the actual technical skill or aesthetic. Conceptual artists used whichever materials and forms were most appropriate to get their ideas across. It emerged as an art movement in the 1960s, and the term usually refers to art made from the mid-1960s to the mid-1970s. So let's go ahead and learn some cool, interesting, and important things about conceptual art. Conceptual art is mainly focused on ideas and purposes, rather than the works of art, paintings, sculptures, and other valuable objects. It is characterized by the use of different media and supports, along with a variety of temporary, everyday materials and ready-made objects. An interesting thing about conceptual art is it's more about guiding the viewer towards its true meaning, which is an idea or a concept behind the artwork. It can be anything, literally, from awareness about an underlying issue to criticizing a decision. Conceptual art uses different colors, materials, and their arrangements to speak about something deeper. Why is concept art important? The goal of conceptual art is to show the creators what their story might look and feel like before they commit to spending millions of production dollars. This way, money isn't wasted on things that we don't need. It also helps set the look and the tone, a blueprint for production. Now let's go ahead and take a look. What are the characteristics of conceptual art? Some key characteristics of conceptual art are creating a dematerialization of art, minimalist, unconventional materials. Art is an idea or concept as the driving aspect more than the traditional art skills. Emphasis on expression or commentary on cultural values or society. Now, as I was doing my research and learning more about conceptual art, I came upon these really interesting comparisons between two art movements. So let's take a look and see what are the difference between conceptual art and minimalism art. Minimalism developed in direct reaction to the critical and popular success of abstract expressionist paintings over the previous decade. Meanwhile, conceptual art fundamentally challenged traditional notions of visual art by emphasizing ideas over objects. Now let's take a look at the difference between conceptual art and abstract art. Abstract art primarily focuses on the use of color, form, and gesture to create visual representations that may not depict any recognizable objects or subjects. On the other hand, conceptual art emphasizes the idea and concept behind the artwork rather than its visual representation. Now, we are getting ready for this big question over here. Who in the world created conceptual art? As a definable movement, conceptual art is associated with the 1960s and 1970s, but its origins reach beyond these 2 decades. Marcel Duchamp is often seen as an important forefather and the one who created conceptual art, and his ready-made Fountain of 1917 cited as the first conceptual artwork. Now let's go ahead and learn more about some of the famous conceptual artists. We have first Marcel Duchamp. Marcel Duchamp was a pioneer of Dada, a movement that questioned long-held assumptions about what art should be and how it should be made. In the years immediately preceding World War I, Duchamp found success as a painter in Paris, but he soon gave up painting almost entirely, explaining, "I was interested in ideas, not merely in visual products." Seeking an alternative to representing objects in paint, Duchamp began presenting objects themselves as art. He selected mass-produced, commercially available, often utilitarian objects, designating them as art and giving them titles. Ready-mades, as he called them, disrupted centuries of thinking about the artist's role as a skilled creator of original handmade objects. Instead, Duchamp argued, an ordinary object could be elevated to the dignity of work of art by the mere choice of an artist. We also have Joseph Conceupt. Conceupt, born January 31st, 1945, is an American artist and theoretician, a founder and leading figure of the conceptual art movement. He is known for his interest in the relationship between words and objects, between language and meaning in art. We also have Damien Hirst. Hirst is a British conceptual artist known for his controversial take on beauty and found art objects. Along with Liam Gillick, Tracy Emin, and Sarah Lucas, Hirst was part of the young British artist movement that rose to prominence in the early 1990s. Sol Levitt. Levitt is regarded as the founder of both minimal and conceptual art. His prolific 2- and 3-dimensional work ranges from wall drawings, over 1,200 of which that been executed, to hundreds of works on paper extending to structures and forms of tower, pyramids, geometric forms, and progressions. We also have Marina Abramovic. Initially a painter, Abramovic sequentially shifted her focus to conceptual work, sound pieces, and performance art. In 1973 to 74, she performed several works named Rhythm, intended to stretch the limits of her body and mind. In Rhythm 2, for example, she took drugs that gave her convulsions or seizures. That is quite intense there. If you love this video, you might be curious and interested about minimalism art, which is the art movement that came before conceptual art. So you guys can check out this video over here to learn more about that. Thank you again so much for watching, and I hope you all got to learn something cool and interesting about conceptual art and discover some new favorite artists from this particular art movement. If you love this video, please make sure to click the like button and also click the subscribe button to get the latest updates on when a new episode like this comes out, so you can learn and expand your knowledge in art history, about artists, and so much more about art. I'm super excited to share more with you guys. So take care, have fun, and stay creative. Happy drawing, painting, and I'll see you in the next episode.